What is up, YouTube? We have 4 pretty spicy cards to look at today. I just want to say thank you for those who subbed in the previous video, and if you are still new here and haven't subbed, and you want to see more of my content, feel free to do so. If not, well, let's get started either way. Thank you for being here and watching. The first card we're going to be looking at is Yasuo, the champion unit. He is a 5 cost, 1 power, 4 might, somewhat understated unit that has ganking, so he can go from battlefield to battlefield. And his ability is, the 3rd time I move in a turn, you score 1 point. Looking at the current card pool, and I wasn't really aware of this, but there's not really that many ways you can personally move this character around. There's a few ways to do it, so let's have a look at those really quickly. Number 1 way is obviously with Yasuo, your champion, who you're going to play this in with. Yasuo, the champion, has, well, 2 mana tap, move a friendly unit to or from your base. That's 1 move. You have the default move of the character when he attacks 1 time. That's 2 moves. And then you have a couple of other options. Option number 1 is to ready the Yasuo at any point. So you could use Yasuo's signature card, Last Breath, ready a friendly unit. It deals damage equal to its might to an enemy at a battlefield. So that's a 3rd way to move it. So whenever you have this card in hand, you've got the option to win the game outright. If you're at 7 points and you have this in your hand, if you're able to move your Yasuo just 1 time, this basically guarantees you can move him a 2nd time, and then Yasuo tap will move him a 3rd time. Instant game closer. Instant 8 points. That is a very strong ability because there's very few ways to win the game once you're at 7. Generally speaking, once you're at 7, either you capture both battlegrounds or you hold on to 1, which is harder to do than it sounds. So having an alternative win condition here is extremely strong. I'm actually not a fan of this, now that I thought about it a little bit more. And the main reason is I'm not a fan of this is it kind of locks the dev into not allowing to give you a lot of ways to move your own units. So for example, if you want Yasuo to be like a staple champion, and his entire thing is move a friendly unit, how do you print him more of these cards? You certainly can't print reactions anymore that give you movement, because if you were to do so, you would be able to just stack those over and over and just win the game outright. This is an action, but like, it limits the dev's creativity on what they can do with movement. Otherwise, this card will always be extremely broken. So yeah, very, very, very strong. It almost guarantees that your opponents, when they're playing into your deck, have to always have mana open if you're at 7 points, because if they don't, you just insta-win the game for free. It's only once per turn, yeah, but it's an ender, it's a finisher. You would not play this early on. This is 5 mana, 1 power for 4 might. This card sucks. This is a game finisher. You end the game with this. You play a strong deck that captures points, and once you're at 7, this is your alt win con. So you can even get away with being a very aggressive deck and then playing this at the end and just playing around it. Because keep in mind, you are playing green. There's a, like, they might try to remove the Yasuo from the board. If you're playing green, green has access to counter spells. You have the main wind wall, you have Defy. You can keep him safe. Green is literally the best color in the game for keeping your units safe and alive. Again, very scary card. Very cool card. I'm a little bit hesitant to say I like the idea that it exists, but I guess it's something we're going to have to play around. Another option, just real quick, you have Marauder. When you play me, move a unit from a battlefield to his base. This is one other way you can get him to move. You get that 3 move, right? So, one other card in the game right now is this. And you'd probably consider playing it. Can Marauder move exhausted units? It should be able to, yes. Very interesting. Let's say Yasuo is holding on to a capture point. You play Maddening Marauder onto that same capture point. Yasuo gets sent to base. Then you use Yasuo's natural move back to the capture point. He's there. You tap Yasuo, you win the game. Scary strong. All right. That out of the way, let's continue. The next card we have, by the way, I've not seen any of these cards. This is a fresh reaction for me. Is, well, Trafarian Glory Seeker. This is a lore card. Same art. Actually, same mana cost as well. Kind of cool. So it is a 2 mana, 2 might unit. Very flat stats. There's a lot of 2 mana 2s in the game. Let's see how she compares. So she is a Legion. when you play me, buff me. 2 mana 3 might's really strong. This fits right into a Darius deck. Not only does it fit into a Darius deck, but if you guys remember, we saw a yellow card yesterday that uses buffs to buff. Yesterday we saw Call to Glory. And we were wondering in what deck would we play this if we're playing green, right? In a green deck, because we figured buffs are all about green. I wouldn't play Call to Glory. All of a sudden, this card makes a bit more sense. If you have yellow units that get buffs for free, like this card, all of a sudden that's a great card. Now, out of nowhere, you have a 0 mana gain 3 might this turn reaction in red-yellow, which is already a very aggressive deck. That is a lot of stats for 0 mana, and it comes out of nowhere. You're able to tap all of your mana out as a Darius deck, fill up the board, and if your opponent attacks you, you still have, with 0 mana, access to it plus 3 buff. So this card, I understand it. It's actually pretty damn strong. I like this card. Fantastic. Again, it is a Legion card. You'll probably want to play this in Darius. But solid. Solid for sure if you're playing Call to Glory. All right. We have 2 more cards to go. The next card is Mistfall. It is a 3 mana gear. I like seeing gears. I like to see what they do. Because we have very few gear removals. And these kinds of cards can definitely shape the meta. So, when you buff a friendly unit, you may pay 1 power or 1 recycle and exhaust this to ready it. Like, let's go to orange. If you're playing buff, you're either playing... It's Set or Lee Sin, basically. More likely in Lee Sin, but not necessarily. Lee can give buffs, yes. All right, chat. Here's what I think about this card. I think this card is quite solid. And I know people are thinking of scenarios where you like get 2 attacks in 1 turn with it, right? But I don't think that's where this card shines. So you would only want to run like maybe 1 copy of this. Let me explain something very interesting that happens. When you are playing Riftbound, and let's say you're behind and your opponent's getting close to winning the game, very often the way they win the game is by holding on to an objective, a battleground. They hold it, right? And you need to get that battleground. Let's say, again, you're playing versus a Kaisa. She Cathian reigns and wipes everything you have and captures a point. Very often, you just lose the game outright. And the reason you lose the game outright is because you have nothing on the board left to contest that point. You need something that is unexhausted to recapture. So acceleration or getting units to be able to attack the moment they're played is quite strong, defensively and offensively. Same thing is true offensively. Quite often, you have 7 points, and the only way to win is to capture 2 points, and you just don't have the units ready to attack. Being able to attack on the turn you play a card is very strong. And this is free, by the way, end game. Like, early game, this kind of sucks. Nobody wants this early game. You don't want to play this on turn 3. But on turn 9, 10, 11, to have this on the board is extremely valuable. Not having to let your units sit for 1 turn doing nothing on your board is a huge deal. And again, once you're at 10, 12 mana, recycling 1 mana does nothing. It's literally free because you're going to get that mana back the next turn. I think this has a lot of potential to be very good. You don't want to, even if you draw multiple of them, as long as it's towards the end of the game, being able to play 2 units and accelerate both is quite strong as well. Although, keep in mind, it can only be done when you buff a unit. So you do need access to buffs, which is why probably something like Lee Sin makes this very easy to use. Buff a friendly unit, right? Every turn you can buff, you can accelerate. Definitely, once I think about it a little bit more, I think this card has place. It has a place to see play. Good defensively, good offensively. It's good for closing out games. It's good for stopping your opponents from closing out games. I would play this. So yeah, solid card. I can't think of any broken interactions with it per se. I can give you examples. Let's say you can find ways to buff in red and orange, right? This can let Volibear attack twice and just wipe 2 boards immediately, right? You have Volibear on the board. Volibear attacks 1 battleground, destroys it. Well, you buff it, sacrifice 1, you ready him, boom. You destroy the other one as well. So yeah, this definitely has potential for use in a lot of different scenarios. I think we'll have to see a few more cards to come out to really get an idea. Also, like, I need to play these decks to really get a feel for it. I've only played about half the champions. I've played almost no games with Yasuo. I've played pretty much nothing with Lee Sin. I've not touched Set yet or played against him. So once I'm further in the game and have actually more experience playing these decks, I can give a bit of a better account, but I do foresee this card being playable for sure. All right. And last but not least, we have champion unit, Udyr. I love seeing champion units. So 6 mana, 1 might, 6 mana, 1 power, 6 might. Solid stats, similar to like Kaisa stats. It is an orange champion unit. And okay, spend my buff. It is a buff unit. So as long as he has a buff on him, you can choose one of these that have not chosen this turn. Oh, wow. Does that mean I can actually do this I can do this multiple times. You could actually do all 4 if you wanted to. Huh. So if you have ways to buff him 4 times, you can apply all 4 of these. So this is not limited to 1 time per turn. But it's pretty hard to buff 4 times. Still, there is no mana cost to it. I haven't even read this. I love this card because it's a versatility card. So you have the option to deal 2 to a unit at a battlefield. Really useful. Really cool. That's one option already. This is good to snipe off cards such as, yeah, killing off Ravenbloom Student, for example. That's a very annoying card to deal with. Pinging this is really nice, especially if your opponent has no mana left. Useful. What else do we have? We have the option to stun a unit at a battlefield. Stunning is ridiculously strong. Like, it is very strong. Why? Because it removes all the defenses your opponent has. If a unit is stunned, it doesn't deal damage. If it doesn't deal damage, you can attack for free. If you're playing versus a Volibear player and you stun his 10 might unit on the board, well, you just capture for free, right? And you lose no units in the process. It's a very strong effect. This can even play with, what is the card's name? You can definitely play this with Solari Warchief in some decks. When you play me, choose a unit. If it is stunned, kill it. Otherwise, stun it. Like, this unit is solid on his own. As long as you have other ways to stun. Yeah. Yellow-orange, maybe. Who knows? Hard to say. I think we would need access to more stun cards, but very good. He has the option to ready me as well. I've talked about this. Being able to ready yourself is very good as well. And ganking as well. Overall, it's such a versatile card. It doesn't do anything crazy, but being able to have options is always good in games. Are they reusing assets from lore? Yes. I like this card a lot. I'm a fan. I think this can fit into a lot of control type decks. It's not very good in aggro. It's not very good in something that wants to like rush down and get points immediately because it doesn't give you immediate value. But what it gives you is versatility. And if you've played card games, whenever you have a card that can do 4 different things, it gets you out of sticky situations. And that's always very strong. It gives you what you need that turn. Leona's yellow green 8. You can't play this in Leona. So yeah, I'm a fan. Nothing crazy on this card, but definitely fun. You cut your hair, I did. And that's it, guys. Those are all the cards. Some pretty fun ones. Yasuo's a little bit scary for me. I think Yasuo has the potential to be a little bit too strong. And it can also limit design space a bit. We'll have to wait and see. I like Udyr. Pretty fun control card. And the other two, Trafarian, Glory Seeker, Mistfall, interesting. Quite interesting. All right. Well, that is it for today. I hope you guys liked the video. And, well, stop on by next time when we see the new cards. So, see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. And, well, you know what it is. Peace!